goes a lot higher and a lot farther than just what Antarctica would, and that there are chunks of ice that are way out there above the dome where it's super cold, and every once in a while a piece breaks off and comes hurtling down to the planet. What do you say to that?
I have heard this as well. I did not know that's what they were called, though. People have suggested to me, from the concave movement, that somehow the ice wall is so high that it actually goes up like a giant fishbowl, which, by the way, is interesting because part of the package of nuke tests the United States did in the 50s was called Operation Fishbowl. But to your question, do I think in my model? No, the ice ring doesn't go up that high. Now, where these chunks of ice come from, you're right. That's a tough one because, people have asked me, it's like, are these chunks of ice part of the dome? Is the dome made out of ice? And I was going, well, for me, no, I really don't think so. But it's a hard material. Could it be a heavy, dense water and there's frozen parts of it? Possibly. Is ice introduced artificially? Also possible. I don't know, but it's an interesting concept. And I don't discount it entirely because obviously there is ice and the stuff you're talking about has been reported for hundreds and hundreds of years.
Oh yeah. I mean, a long time, even before, people say, well, maybe it's an airplane dropping off its stuff, but no.
No. This is way before that.
Yeah. These are huge ice blocks, icicles, ice whatever. They're dangerous, and they some of them weigh tons, and they fall out of space, fall out of the sky. They fall out of outer space. And when they hit, it's like a bomb going off.
Yeah, and it is fascinating. As a matter of fact, there was I reference this every once in a while. There's a wonderful PDF file called the M.K. Jessup Case for the UFO, where he talks about all stuff going all the way back to the the early 1800s. Of course, it goes much further than that, where giant ice sheets have fallen onto farmland, and it's a fascinating concept.
It's the idea. I mean, even Charles Ford at one time believed that we had, maybe even Velikovsky believed it, that we had a huge water wall above us. And then, of course, that water wall came down, and that's why we had the floods. That was an antediluvian theory that the waters from heaven came down and mixed with the waters of the ocean.
Exactly. Or the Genesis, the firmament separating the waters from the waters.
Right, exactly. Yeah. We were forged in water. We were born of the water, and it's always been that way. That's why we do baptisms and things of that nature. Let's go to Skillet in Alabama. You're on Ground Zero.
Skillet?
Hey, Clyde. I don't know how you're ever going to top yourself. 2 weeks ago, you had a cat on saying that the moon was a hologram. Now you got somebody. Is that guy in there in the studio right now, Mark? Is he right there with you?
No, he's not.
Or is he on the phone?
He's on
I'm out in Boulder, Colorado.
He walks out wherever he's at. They might be looking for him because anybody that's going to say that the world's flat, I'd be afraid to walk outside. You might have a straitjacket thrown on you. But I'm telling you what, I never thought I'd be able to talk to anybody crazier than me, but this must be my lucky day. Let me ask you a question like this. I think I heard him say that we didn't have a photograph of the Earth until 1969. Oh, I don't believe that's correct.
No, it's absolutely correct. By all means, please Google the Earth from space, man, and take a look at what's out there. There's so few things that are legit from NASA. Absolutely, we didn't have a picture of the Earth from space.
Well, how about the first rocket in 1962? You don't think they snapped some kind of Polaroid or something?
And you're absolutely right, Skillet. That begs the question, what took them so long before they actually released a picture? You're absolutely right. Why did it take them over a decade to release any picture? And why was that picture literally the only picture on the internet you could get of the Earth from space until I think like 2005? Why was that?
Oh, those NASA guys aren't a bunch of crooks. You better get off that, man. You start thinking like that, you'll drive yourself crazy. You might. I don't know.
Well, see, that's the thing is, he's a flat earther and he's crazy. I don't believe we landed on the moon in '69, so I'm kind of nuts.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you another thing. I'm also a witch doctor too, and I'll prove that. You just wait for the Kentucky Wildcats play in a couple nights from now. Wisconsin beat them. You know why? I'm going to put a voodoo hex on the Kentucky Wildcats. Now I just got one more thing to say. That's George Murray.
Oh, man.
That goes into the 40-year anniversary calls right there.
Wow.
I'm old, decrepit. I don't care. I just love Skillet's call. Okay, we're going to go to Lana in Colorado. KRDO, you're on Ground Zero. Go ahead, Mark Sargent. Go ahead.
Hello.
Hello, Lana. You're on the phone. Go ahead.
Hi. Hi, Clyde.
Hey.
Really nice to speak with you tonight.
Good to speak with you.
This might be off the subject, but your guest had mentioned to another caller that, to look up in the sky, what you see isn't always what you think it is. And there's a very bright, it looks like a very large star or a planet. It's always up in the western sky, usually around dusk or when it's turning evening. And I know it's not a planet. It's just very close. It's up there every night. And I'm wondering if either one of you could shed some light, or if you know what I'm talking about.
How do you know it's not a planet? I mean, we've got Jupiter and Mars and a number of planets aligning right now. So, yeah, it must definitely be a planet if it's in the twilight sky, whether it be morning or evening.
Well,
Do you know what constellation it's next to?
Pardon?
Do you know what constellation it's next to, by chance?
You know what? It's there's really nothing else up in the sky but this, and I've looked at it through the telescope and binoculars, and it just it doesn't even look. The shape of it is just unusual, and it's just so close. It seems like it's extremely close.
We also have the ISS that's in the sky that we see all the time. It looks like a huge ball of fire in the sky that's looking down. It's almost like a second sun. It's up there as well. We've got a lot of things up there that, pretty much remain stationary, and they're bright. And sometimes if we don't look at the sky enough, we look at something that looks odd, that doesn't belong there, and we immediately say to ourselves, that's a UFO. It doesn't move. It's just there. But, chances are if it's up there, it's bright, and it's not moving as fast as you'd like it to, chances are it's a planet of some kind, or maybe even a space station.
Okay.
All right.
I'm going to take that as the answer.
Yeah, well, I mean, unless it comes down and it knocks on your door and, asks for cookies, I would say it's a space station. Something like that. All right? All right, Lana?
Okay. Another thing, Clyde,
yes.
I just wanted to say I'm very glad that you're in better health, and I'm a survivor at the same thing, and we're blessed to have you around.
Thank you. I'm blessed to have you on my program. Thank you, Lana, for calling. You take care. All right. Good night. Go to Doug. Uncle Doug, quickly. You're on Ground Zero. Go ahead.
Yeah. Good morning, Clyde. Sorry I didn't get to call you yesterday. Congratulations on your 20 years, buddy.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, definitely. Hey, Mark, I got a quick question. How old are you?
I'm sorry, what?
How old are you?
I am 46.
Okay, I'm going on 62 here shortly.
Okay.
And I'm going to tell you something, bud. I come from an old Navy family.
Okay.
And a missile designer family. My dad worked in the missile industry as a designer on the Titan I, the Titan II, and the Minuteman.
Okay.
He was in the Navy for 22 years as an aviator.
Okay.
He logged himself over 30,000 hours in the air.
Sure.
And I had several discussions with him about the Earth being flat. And he looked at me and laughed and said, "Have you lost your damn mind?" Now I'm going to go with you. I'm going to go with you on one point.
Yeah.
That the Earth might be wobbled. It might not be totally round. But me being a diesel engineer and a farmer, I do know one thing. When things go round and round, they become more spherical. Now, I understand we have mountains, and I understand we have ridges, and I'm not saying that the Earth is totally round. Mm-hmm. I sure as hell don't think that there's an edge somewhere. And I go along with the lady that called in earlier from Colorado. Where is the edge? Now, I do know one thing, Mark.
Yeah.
We're getting ready to have a polar shift if we're not already into the polar shift happening. And when that happens, you're going to see some really weird things happen. But how dare you, young man, how dare you, and I mean this wholeheartedly, fella, how dare you say that NASA or the military or for the space program is bogus. You have no idea what you're talking about. And I don't know what your agenda is. Are you trying to do a screenplay or a movie or a book or something? But you need to back off on this thing being totally flat, because it's not totally flat.
Got it. Because the military would never lie to us ever in a million years about anything.
No. I'm with you on that. I'm with you on the government. I'm with you on the military. But where do you come up with this, man, that it's flat? I mean, I understand. You know why they're down there in Antarctica? They're guarding probably a alien space base.
Okay. That's not bad.
I'll go with you on that one wholeheartedly.
I dig part of it.
Or
sure.
up north, at the North Pole. I'll go with you wholeheartedly on that. But you need to get off your little high horse about the map being flat. I mean, when you order a map somewhere, hell, they don't send you a map with a bunch of bumps on it. They send you a flat map.
Well, Doug, I'm out of time.
Right, dude. I think you've been on the pipe too long, and I think you've got an agenda to write a book or something.
I haven't made a dime off this, man.
All right, Doug, you have a good night.
Well, you need not to, and you need to back off on it, because the world is not flat, Columbus.
That's it. So, Mark, I'm looking at my Facebook page. Everybody's saying I'm belittling people who think the Earth is round. Hell, I think the Earth is round. I just don't know.
Okay.
Damn you, you're a troublemaker.
I am a troublemaker. Ask the flat earthers. They'll tell you.
So damn pissed off, I tell you. No, let's go to Bill in Connecticut. Bill, you have at him.
Yes, hi, Clyde. Hi. The last caller was totally correct. Let me expand on the last caller. Let me expand on it. One of the first pictures, if not the first picture of the Earth from different areas as this particular satellite orbited the Earth was in 1962, Tyros, it was called. It was the first primitive weather satellite that lasted just for a short period of time in 1962. And then a few years later, from 1965 to 66, lunar orbiters 1 through 4, especially lunar orbiter 1, did take pictures in lunar orbit of the rising Earth, sort of similar to what Apollo 8 astronauts took in December 1968 with 16-millimeter film. These were electronic photographs. They were in black and white, not color, but they were actually very clear. And in fact, the last 2 years ago in 2013, NASA enhanced them with modern digital techniques to make them just as clear as modern photographs from modern spacecraft orbiting the moon of the Earth. As well as, I want to add, NASA's had since Project Gemini through Apollo and even into 2015 what it's called its Deep Space Network. What I mean by that is radio telescopes in 4 different areas of the Earth: Madrid, Spain, Canberra, Australia, and near the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, Pasadena, California. And there's a fourth one, I forgot where it is. So that as the Earth revolves, and it is a globe, the Earth is a globe, and it revolves, one of those 3 or 4 antennas will always be pointed at whatever space mission you talk about, like the New Horizons unmanned space probe that will fly by Pluto coming July 14th. And between May to July 14th and beyond July 14th to October, November, December, we'll get close-up photos and data from Pluto. So as the Earth revolves, and it's a globe, different radio telescopes will get the signal from the New Horizons spacecraft as it approaches Pluto, goes by Pluto, which is a globe itself, and the moon is a globe, we know that, and all the other planets. So the flat Earth position is totally insane and ridiculous, just as ridiculous and insane as religion, Christianity, and
Why did you have to say that? Why did you
have to throw that in at the end?
I mean, did you really?
I'm an atheist, as you know.
No, there's a difference between an atheist and an ass clown, and that wasn't very nice. You don't say that about religion. Just be. Why can't you be an atheist with class?
Shut up wasn't very nice.
Why can't you be an atheist?
Shut up. That wasn't very nice.
Why can't you be an atheist with class? Why do you have to?
You told me to shut up the last time I called you. That wasn't very nice.
Did I tell you to shut up now?
No, but the last call you did.
Because you were being a douchebag. I couldn't handle it.
No, you just didn't agree with me. That's all. You didn't agree with me. You told me to shut up.
You're just annoying sometimes, and I have to be the policeman here. That's all. You weren't annoying tonight, so I love you, Bill. Have a good night, all right?
Because I give you scientific facts.
No, you slammed religion, you little... Ugh, God, you make me mad sometimes. You have a good night, I guess. Mark Sargent, thanks for the show. Appreciate it, man.
Oh, no, thank you, Clyde. I had a lot of fun.
I had fun, too. You have a great night, and watch out for those people that don't believe. We'll see you soon, okay?
I will look over my shoulder.
All right, take care. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. We'll be back with more. Keep it here on Ground Zero.